Disturbing new details emerged during Wednesday's preliminary hearing in the case of a California couple accused of torturing and shackling their 13 children, including how the victims were fed moldy pies, whipped with belts and choked for watching a Justin Bieber music video. Those present in Superior Court in Riverside gasped when prosecutors showed photos of two of Louise and David Turpin's daughters that their 17-year-old sister had snapped with an old cell phone before fleeing in January. The images featured two pale, malnourished girls, ages 11 and 14, shackled to bunk beds inside their family's filthy home in Perris, California. David and Louise have pleaded not guilty to torture, child abuse and other charges. Each is being held on $12 million bail and could face up to life in prison if convicted. The couple was arrested in January after their 17-year-old daughter, who had spent 2 years planning an escape, climbed out a window and then called 911 to report abuse. By the time police arrived at the house 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles, the two shackled sisters had been hastily released from their chains when police showed up, but a 22-year-old son remained restrained. The young man said he and his siblings had been suspected of stealing food and being disrespectful, Riverside County Sheriff's Det. Thomas Salisbury said during Wednesday's hearing. The man said he had been tied up with ropes at first but later, after learning to wriggle free, restrained with increasingly larger chains on and off over 6 years. Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Brown said one daughter told him that she knew her sister had contacted police when she heard a knock at the door and saw flashing lights outside the window. She said she was finally going to become free, Brown said. Senior investigators with the county district attorney's office testified that doctors and medical records showed some of the children were severely malnourished and had muscle wasting, with some adult children being 32 pounds underweight. The 11-year-old girl who had been shackled to her bed had stunted growth from malnourishment, and her arms were the size of an infant's, investigator Patrick Morris said. In her 20-minute 911 call, the 17-year-old who escaped told the dispatcher, "We don't really do school. I haven't finished first grade." The girl told Sheriff's Deputy Manuel Campos that she hadn't bathed in a year and that she didn't know the date or the month. He testified. About 2 years ago, the mother found out the girl had been watching a Justin Bieber video on a cell phone borrowed from her sister and started choking her and asked, "Do you want to die?" Campos said. The girl said she didn't want to die, but she feared she was about to as the choking continued. "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do. You want to die," the mother said, according to Campos. "You want to die and go to hell." There was no breakfast, and recently lunch and dinner had been combined into one meal that included peanut butter and bologna sandwiches, a frozen burrito and chips. The girl said she recently had started refusing the peanut butter sandwiches because she starts to gag and starts to throw up, Campos testified. The teen, who said she hadn't finished first grade, had difficulty pronouncing some words and spoke like a much younger child. She couldn't even dial 911 because she was so scared that she was shaking, he said. She didn't know the neighborhood and had to read her address to the dispatcher off a piece of paper. The kids were rarely allowed outside, though they went out on Halloween and traveled as a family to Disneyland and Las Vegas, they said. "Sometimes I wake up and I can't breathe because of how dirty the house is," the girl told the woman dispatcher. She said she hadn't bathed in a year and Campos observed dirt caked on her skin and a stink from being unbathed. The girl referred to her parents as mother and father because she said it was more like the Bible days, he said. She reported that her father pulled down her pants and put her on his clothed lap in a recliner chair in the TV room when she was 12. She said she didn't like it and pulled up her pants and that he told her not to tell anyone, Campos said. Jack Osborne, an attorney appointed to represent the couple's 7 adult children, said earlier this year they were doing well. They have participated in music therapy programs, made crafts, and world-famous cellist Yo-Yo Ma held a special concert for them. They communicated with their younger siblings over Skype. They're happy, they are wanting to move forward, they do not want to dwell on the past, and they want their identity to be now and going forward, the things they hope to do, the dreams they have. They do not want people to think of them only as a possible victim, but as young adults setting off on their lives, he told the Riverside Press Enterprise newspaper in February. The hearing is scheduled to resume Thursday.